Hi everybody, Miss Lorenz here. I'm going to talk about 1.4. This is about division with fractions. Some of this gets really confusing, so you guys need to make sure you have your book with you. As you're watching this video, you have a pencil, you're pausing the video as you need to, and you're doing this with me as we go through it. You're going to need that in order for you to get going on the rest of it, the practice problems. All right, so we're going to use this number line to represent data from this situation here. The students in this problem are competing in a 4-kilometer race, and there are 10 runners, and it even tells us that each runner runs 2/5 of a kilometer. And so we're not asked to solve anything here, we're just asked to make sense of it. So I know if there's 4 kilometers and there are 10 runners, that each runner runs 4/10, right? Each runner runs 4/10, which is also known as 3/5 or 2/5 of a kilometer. And that's what we have here, right? I could also think of 4/10 as, 4 divided by 10, which is, 4 divided by 10, which is 4/10. And I could also do the long division here to show how I got that, and get 4/10. All right, so essentially I want to try to model that on this number line. So 4 kilometers, and we have to split this 4 up among 10 runners so that we can show how much each runner ran. Well, we know the answer, but let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to do that. So in order to split it up into 10 parts, I need to have a number that I know can go nicely into 10. So I'm going to split each of these into fifths. So I have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. 5/5 is also known as 1 whole. And then 2 is also known as 10/5. So 5/5, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, 10/5. 11/5, 12/5, 13/5, 14/5, 15/5, 16/5, 17/5, 18/5, 19/5, 20/5 is also known as 4. So by doing that, now look at what I have. I have 5/5, 10/5, 15/5, 20/5, and I know I can divide 20/5 into equal chunks with the 10 runners. Each runner then gets 2/5, right? So that's 1 runner, 2 runners, 3 runners, 4 runners, 5 runners, 6 runners, 7 runners, 8 runners, 9 runners, 10 runners. All right, that's how I model it. Now, is this what I expect you guys to do every time you divide fractions? Absolutely not, but it's a nice way to look at it so that we understand what we're doing here. Okay, on to the next page. We're going to look at dividing a whole number by a fraction. In this problem, we have a board that is 3 feet long, so go ahead and make yourself a number line that goes from 0 to 3. That's our board. And then we know that we need pieces of that board that are each 3/4 of a foot in length. And so I cut each of my holes into fourths. So you can see that that's what these tick marks are. That's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, which is my 1 hole. 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4 is my 2 holes. 9/4, 10/4, 11/4, 12/4 is my 3 holes. And then I just kind of jumped so I could see how many 3/4 pieces I can get out of here. So there's 1 3/4 pieces. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So I can make 4 shelves out of this board. All right, let's go ahead and do the try it at the bottom of that page there. So the try it is a very similar problem. It says that a board is 6 feet and we want to know how many 2/3 foot sections we can get from the board. So draw yourself a number line that goes from 0 to 6. And then you'll see that I partitioned each of the numbers, each of the whole numbers into thirds. So I've got 1/3, 2/3. There's my 3/3, which is 1. 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, my 9/3 is my 3. See how this is like a way for me to double check that I counted right? 10 thirds, 11 thirds, this is my 12 thirds, 13 thirds, 14 thirds, 15 thirds, 16 thirds, 17 thirds, 18 thirds would be my 6, which is right. Okay, and now I want to figure out how many 2/3 chunks I can get out of this board. So I have 1. See how I'm just going to jump for every 2/3? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 groups of, that's multiplication, 2/3 in 6. So if I multiply 9 times 2/3 to check my work, I'm going to write 9 over 1 times 2/3. I get 18 thirds, which is 6. So I know that I did this correctly. Okay, next page, let's do the cake problem. This is example 2. How much cake will each person get if 3 friends decide to share half a cake equally? So it's always good to draw a picture, you guys. So here we have a half a cake, and we're dividing it among 3 friends. So I'm showing an area model with 1 whole cake divided in half. And now I want to show that I'm dividing this half. This is the cake. I want to divide that half up into thirds. So I'm going to do this, right? Divide that up into thirds. And then I can see that each person gets 1 of these. Now I just need to imagine these parts so that I could see that the entire whole is now made of 6ths. And so if each person eats this much, each person is eating a 6th. So I know that a half divided by 3 equals a 6th. And to check myself, I want to know that if I have if I have 6 pieces and each piece is a 6th, then I'm going to get the whole cake. Or if I have 3 pieces and each piece is a 6th, then I'm getting a half of a cake. All right, one more. Okay, this last one, 8 divided by 3/4. I want you to analyze the pattern in example 3, and I'm just going to go through the pattern in this video. So what they're showing is that when you have a whole number divided by a fraction, that you are essentially multiplying by the denominator and then dividing by the numerator, which is the same as multiplying by what we call the reciprocal. I think it's OL. Oh, maybe it's AL. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. And so when we take 8 divided by 3/4, if we rewrite it as a multiplication problem where we multiply by the reciprocal, we end up with 32 thirds, which is equal to 10 2/3. Now let's try to make sense of this. If we have 8 whole cakes, all right? Let's go ahead and draw 8 whole cakes. I want you guys to make sure you can understand this by thinking of a context. So those are our 8 whole cakes, and each person gets 3/4 of a cake. So how many people can eat? Well, we'd have to split all of these cakes into 4ths, and by doing that, then we can see, all right, if each person gets 3/4 of a cake, well, there's 1 person can eat. And there's 2 people that can eat. And 3, there's 3 servings. 4 servings. 5 servings. 6 servings. 7 servings, 8 servings, 9 servings, 10 servings, and 2/3 of another serving, right? It's not a whole serving, it's 2 of the 3 parts of that last serving. So 2/3 of another serving. All right, I hope that helps you guys now. Go get started on your practice problems.